Hello, welcome to the Cup Night channel. My name is Shane. Today I will be doing an auto drawing and tarot reading for you. But I picked up on some messages during my meditation before I started this video. So I felt I needed to share these first because I believe they will tie into the drawing and the tarot reading. But today is the 25th of October, 2025. I'm connecting to the energy of Saturn. Saturn is currently in the sign of Pisces in the 4th house, if you're going by True Sky Sidereal Astrology, which is the actual placements of the planet in the sky according to real observations, science. So there is this connection to Cancer because Cancer is associated with the 4th house. The 4th house is all about the home, origins, ancestry, and it's interesting because what came through was very much kind of an ancestral, multi-layered message. So let me tell you about what I was picking up on in my meditation. I was seeing a cloud, and it was raining, but it wasn't like a heavy storm or anything. It was like a very nice thick rain, but it was pleasant. Like the cloud was pleasant looking. It wasn't like dark and full of lightning, and it was kind of like a white fluffy cloud just like gently raining down. And what I was seeing is that this cloud, or the many clouds that resembled this one cloud I was seeing, was the result of a process of devotion. So it was like this service. Maybe you have been wrapped up in some kind of ritual that you do daily or almost daily. This idea of like devotion to a routine that you have been doing has been creating these clouds. It's been sending the energy up into the heavens, collecting as these clouds, purified by the atmosphere, by the heavens, and then raining back down onto the ground where it's needed most. And I was seeing it raining down on an onion in the ground. And onions are very interesting. I looked up some interesting facts about onions, and there was tons of stuff here that makes for an awesome message. So, and also I immediately thought of Shrek. And ogres are like onions. We have layers. So there may be something here about there's something being perceived as kind of like a monster or an atrocity maybe that is, there's more to it than what's visible on the surface. It's deeper than what it seems on the surface. There's value in it. So this idea of don't judge a book by its cover. So, yeah, if there's someone or something in your life that maybe you have been kind of demonizing as of late, maybe it's good to look at it through the lens of compassion and thinking about like, well, how did they get to being who they are, or how did this situation end up? What are the layers of the many layers of the situation? Because it may provide you with a new perspective on it. So going into the onion, some interesting facts. They are one of the oldest known cultivated crops, going back about 7,000 years. First identified near where present-day Iran is. So they represent ancient knowledge. They are very deep ancestrally, which goes along perfectly with the 4th house in Cancer. Ancient Egyptians worshipped onions. They thought that their concentric rings represented eternal life. And of course, the rings make me think the rings of Saturn. So this onion symbol is very connected to Saturn. Which makes a lot of sense because this is the energy I was trying to connect with as I was meditating. The Egyptians used them in burial rituals for afterlife protection, so they were seen as a source of spiritual protection. They are materially mostly water, but they're also packed with various nutrients. one that I saw specifically, I still have it up here. So they have fiber, vitamin C, B6, folic acid, and they also contain quercetin, an antioxidant compound studied for potential benefits in heart health and cancer prevention. There's a link to cancer through name again. The sulfur compounds responsible for their pungent smell also fight bacteria and protect against some pests. So there's that protection again. Yeah, protection from bacteria and pests. So that's probably where the Egyptians got this idea of spiritual protection. And then, interestingly, the word onion comes from Latin unus or unus. Not really sure how to say it, but it means one or unity. And so this is kind of going along with the reading I did yesterday. If you didn't see that one, I was connecting to Venus, and there was a lot about intestines and organs and like internal core related issues. So there's an emphasis on the core here in this energy today as well. And interestingly, Saturn, if you look at it in a constellational app like Stellarium, I'll show you, I still have it pulled up on my phone. You can actually see, hopefully you can see this, that Saturn, if it'll pop up here, is aligned, there it is, with the fish. It's like kind of like just a little bit past its gill right here, kind of like nearing the core of the fish, which yesterday Venus was at the core of the constellation of Virgo when I was doing the reading. So there's, again, this idea about like the center or the center, unity, oneness, the core of something, getting to the core of something. And I actually meant to write this when I drew the crowd, but I was hearing this. What comes up must come down. Or rather, what goes up must come down. But it wasn't in like a karmic way. It was more of like the work you have put in to whatever this is, whatever this core routine is that you've been devoted to, which goes along with this idea of Saturnian energy, devotion, long-term stability, like slow-moving things that have huge payoffs. This idea of it's like it's coming back down into your reality through the layers of this material existence and permeating water. What does it do? It enters, it goes in, right? It's bioavailable, easily absorbed by living things. So it's foundational. And also Pisces and Cancer, water signs. So this idea of water is coming through as well, something that permeates, that's foundational to life, that is, ancient. A core part of life. It's one of the four elements. So heavy emphasis on water today as well. I would say water and earth. Because I was actually thinking about how this message was already relating heavily to Virgo, and Virgo was coming through in the reading from yesterday. So Pisces and Virgo, Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. So there's this axis, and Pisces is water, Virgo is earth. So there's this coming together of water and earth, which is exactly what this vision I was seeing was representing, the water coming down to the earth, to the onion, to hydrate it. So very interesting. It seems like there's a receiving of this energy that is coming in. If it's not already happening, maybe you're already feeling this, and it's directly related to whatever routines you have been like passionately devoted to. All this energy that you have put in and given up out, up to the ether, to spirit, however you want to look at it, out into the world even, it's coming back. It's part of this cycle, and it is coming back, and it is producing tangible results here, multi-layered results. And it may not look like what you think it will, like it might look kind of scary at first, however it comes in, but you got to realize that there are layers to whatever this is. So, okay. So this one's a little out of character for how I've been doing these videos lately, but I felt this was important to share, and I feel it will be relevant to the message. So I'm going to just flip this over to do the auto drawing, and then, I'll interpret it, and then we'll pull some cards to go along. Oh, one last thing before I do that. On the pre-shuffle for the deck, the hangman was on the bottom for the tarot, and then for the archetypes, the queen. So once again, Pisces energy coming through with the hanged man, and the queen makes me think Virgo. So literally, these two cards are representing this Pisces-Virgo axis. And when I look at this hanged man card, he's hanging from this tree almost like he is fruit. It's like, it made me think like the fruits of your labor, the care that you've put into whatever this process is, you're starting to see the results for it. And it's been a long process. You've been very patient with this, whatever it is. So, all right. Let's flip this over, and I'll just do the drawing here, and then, So I'll speed this part of the video up. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. Okay, so there are some overlapping threads with the messages that came in before. First thing, I'm seeing 4s everywhere, and so 4th house energy, very prevalent, definitely about the home or the body. And I think it's more focused on the body. I was seeing this H, here, let's do this, H4. So that could be like an apartment number or some kind of code in another way that is significant to someone. It's just kind of harping again on this home, H, and 4 also representing the home or the body to me. And then, there are just 4s everywhere, 4, 4, 4. Yeah. So heavy emphasis on that. And I was seeing a hazmat suit here. There's kind of like this like screen, face cover here, and then the suit kind of wraps around down here, and there's like an arm kind of like reaching out into whatever is going on here. It's very hard to define anything in this area, so it's kind of like this chaotic energy, but it's almost like somebody is putting their hands on something that is hard to define and maybe like toxic, or at least it's not known if it's hazardous or not. Something like that. And then I saw this figure up here, which at first I was like, is that a fox? But it has this really big ear, and it kind of has this like horn thing coming off of it. So jackalope came to mind. And I was like, wait, is that a real thing? So I looked it up, and no, it's not. It's a mythological creature from American folklore, specifically the American West. It is a mix between a jackrabbit and an antelope. And there's some interesting tales around it. So in Douglas, Wyoming, that could be significant for someone. I used to have a hedgehog named Douglas. I just like the name Douglas. I think it's a cool name. But they would issue licenses for hunting jackalopes on June 31st, which is a June 31st is a non-existent day. So there's this idea of mythological creatures coming through, because I had Shrek and he's an ogre. So folklore, mythology, days out of time, things like that. This idea of like being out of time or out of the scope of our normal reality. Something magical. Yeah. Something beyond the realm of reason. But there was more to this jackalope thing. It said this idea of cancer is coming through again. It said that the idea of a jackalope might have come from people seeing these horn-like tumors on real rabbits that were caused by a disease called Shope papillomavirus. SHOPE, papillomavirus. So there is like a basis in reality for this mythological creature potentially. And it has to do with cancer, which seems to be coming through. Whether you're seeing it as just like the sign of cancer related to this home and body, or like ancient origins energy, or whether you're seeing it as like the disease itself, cancer, put it where it fits for you. But either way, if you have any inklings of something being off with you, definitely go consult a medical professional about it. Don't ignore your body. This reading is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. But this is what's coming through. So here I saw a full belly snake. There's kind of like a snake head here, and then it's got this really big belly. And it's kind of like arched and like up and like ready to strike, but it's like full. So it's like, I don't know, maybe even a pregnant snake, because at first I did think pregnancy, and that has been coming through on like all of my readings. So either way, however it works for you, a full belly snake, this idea of like transformation, renewal, rebirth, and again, this idea of birth coming through with this figure. I saw a potion, this kind of like large glass looking object here with almost like smoke coming out of it. Potions, they can be both sides of the spectrum. They can be helpful or hurtful. It could be like a poisonous potion, a harmful potion, or it could be a helpful one. It depends on the intention of who made it and why they made it, right? So there's this idea of duality coming in, and, is this going to help or hurt me kind of a thing? Maybe some kind of medicine involved in something, especially with the idea of this being related to the body. A couple more things about the jackalope before I get too far away from it. It was known as an elusive trickster in the American West. It was thought to be able to imitate human voices, and also it was thought that it only mated during thunderstorms, which I know I didn't say that this was a thunderstorm, but it is a storm of sorts, a very light one, a healing one. So that was interesting. An interesting connection. And then also it was said that it was good luck when it was spotted. And then here I am thinking, oh, jackalope. So technically we have all just spotted a jackalope here. So hopefully there's some good luck coming through in all of this for us. Also, when I see the number 4, I always think of this sign for Jupiter, which is kind of like a stylized 4 like that. And Jupiter is associated with good luck and good fortune. It's the great benefic planet of our solar system. Benefic meaning, bestowing good fortune and good things upon people. So that energy is here as well. So if there is something going on with your health, it seems like, it's good. There are good things coming from your awareness of this situation. Like it seems to have a positive outcome. And then finally, I put Shrek monk pointing east, because you can kind of see Shrek's face bleeding from the other side through, and then taking the head of the jackalope, it kind of looks like he's wearing like a monk cloak, and then his arm is extending out this way, pointing to the east side of the drawing over here. And his eyes are like scratched out here, so it's almost like, it's almost like this idea of having faith in what's coming in the new, because the sun rises on the east, right? So this idea of new things coming in, a new dawn. And monks, spiritual practitioners who are this idea of devotion is coming through again too. Yeah, highly devoted to their practice. And then here we have this ogre monk pointing to the east, to what's new. So it's almost like, don't forget that, you know, every day is a new day. It's like focusing on the positive, focusing on the future, the east, what's coming in. Yeah. So your present situation might not feel ideal with this kind of like slightly toxic energy here, especially related to the fourth house. But yeah, there's this emphasis on, trust your intuition, your connection to source, whatever that is for you, the universe, God, spirit, whatever you call it. And yeah, just know that everything will work out the way it should. All right, moving on to the next side. I also think, before I go on, this connection between the number 4 and H, it's interesting that Jupiter is like kind of like a 4, and then also Saturn's glyph is like an H with a cross on top like that. And if you flip it upside down, it looks like a 4, and then we have this H4 at the center of the drawing. So there's this like connection between Jupiter and Saturn here, and it's interesting because they are like opposites in a way. They balance each other. Saturn is like restriction and discipline, and Jupiter is like growth, abundance, no restrictions, right? So it's like there's this balance here. Maybe that's what this H4 is. It's kind of like referencing Saturn and Jupiter's kind of like harmonious interactions. Maybe their energies are interacting with each other in harmonious ways at this time. I didn't look to see if there were any aspects between Jupiter and Saturn right now. You know what? I still have it open, so actually let me check real quick. Let's see. Jupiter is in Gemini in the 8th house. And yeah, it actually, I don't know if you can see this on here. I don't think, it's not going to, I don't want to turn the autofocus on because then I'll lose focus on all this. But Saturn is down here, Jupiter's over here in Gemini, and they are trining each other. So yeah, there is this very supportive, harmonious energy between Saturn and Jupiter right now. So that's beautiful. Okay. Let's continue on to this side. Over here, I was seeing this fan kind of structure here. And also, again, 4, and this one kind of looks like the Jupiter glyph. It's kind of like stylized, like curved. So Jupiter coming through again, a fan. Fans are about rotation, movement. They generate wind, which is movement through the air, air is like a fast-moving element, right? It's very light and fluid, and so, and there's this idea of like being propelled. There's also this idea of like fans, like people who are supportive of you, like I am your fan. And then I saw from the same area this bell. There's like this like handle and then a bell structure here, and it's in the upright, so it's almost like it's being like held and rung, like a hand ringing bell. So I just wrote ringing bell. Bells are signals, right? So, and this one seems to be a small light bell, so the signal would be very light and airy. And some people use bells to clear energy because the frequencies that the bell emits, people believe that sound frequencies can balance energy in an area. So this is like healing, and bells are associated with healing and just like heavenly energy, right? So yeah, this idea of like a bell being rung to kind of like cleanse. I'm picking up on this like cleansing. And the fan, what does a fan do? It blows stagnant air around. It cleanses the air. So if there's, what do you do when there's like a smell in an area, or there's some kind of like contamination in an area in the air? You get fans and you ventilate it. So this idea of ventilation and clearing out. And that goes along with the hazmat suit, right? What do people who are wearing hazmat suits do? They are cleaning up something toxic, right? So again, there's this idea of like looking into the core of something and cleansing, cleaning it up, like paying attention to it. Big emphasis on the body. Yes, health Health, 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 especially with Virgo. Virgo is all about health, the sixth house energy, right? So service to others, but also health, your own health, the health of your community even. So yeah, huge emphasis on that. Can't stress that enough. And then I also saw like CA or LA here. So California or Los Angeles or both could be significant for someone. California is on the west coast of the United States, so this idea of the West coming through again, just like with the jackalope, it's from the folklore of the American West. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Big emphasis on endings and beginnings, which that has been coming through a lot too. It's like we are at the end of something and the beginning is in sight. It's not quite here yet, but it's like it's there. Like we are reaching the pinnacle of something. And whatever work we have been putting into it is coming back. It's about to rain down on us, right? It's about to create new layers, new growth, new life for us. And yeah, it's going to be a surprise. It's not going to be what you think it is, you know. Okay. And I saw here at the center this like devilish figure. It's kind of like this got this like evil smile and these like beady eyes. And then it also it's got these horns, but also it kind of looks like an ant. So I wrote devil in the core because it is at the center here. But also I wrote /ant because whatever this is, it's small, right? It's there though, and it needs attention, but it's nothing you can't handle is kind of how I was reading this energy. It's something that you should pay attention to, but it's manageable. But it's at a smaller level and it's in the core. So once again, this idea of like something going on inside that needs attention, but it is being cleansed, it's being cleared out as long as you give it that attention. And down here, I was seeing this very content face. You see they got their eyes closed and they got this nice little smile on them. They're just very peaceful looking. It's kind of egg-shaped too. So once again, this idea of like new birth, rebirth, pregnancy, that kind of stuff is coming through. So I just wrote content face and pleased. So once again, it seems like whatever this is has a positive outcome. 4s everywhere. All right, and then from this side, we have, I first saw a cobra up here at the top. It's got like its little wings. I'm not really sure what you call them, but you know how cobras have those like flanges around their head, and then it's like very alert and just like ready to strike. So it seems like whatever this is, since this is at the very top of this, it's known. Like this is a cobra that has locked onto something and is like ready to go. So yeah, that's good. I love to see that. I was seeing a 7A here, so I wrote 7A. The number 7 to me, it's about kind of like the outcast number in a way. It's like there's harmony around it and it's in the middle in between these two states. Because 6 is like a number of harmony, right? You have 3 and 3. But 7, now you have something isolated in the middle of those two groups of 3, right? It's the outcast. It's the agent of change, the agent of chaos. I like to say that sometimes. An A makes me think alpha, so the beginning of it's like this is the beginning of some kind of mystical change in a structure that was, balanced in some way. There's some new element introduced that brings it to the next level. And then H7, I saw H here again, and then this 7 with it's kind of a 7 like this. It's got, some people write 7s like that with a little cross in the middle. So once again, could be an apartment number or some kind of code. I'm not really sure. But this idea of home with the H, or Cancer, or the 4th house, and then 7, this idea of this like transcendental energy, right? Like transcending, oh yeah, home, something balanced, something stable, right? And then 7 representing kind of like spiritual transformation is, I guess, the easiest way I could synthesize it for how I view the number 7. It's this like mystical breakthrough in what was. So yeah, change in foundations, and that definitely is ringing true. Yeah, the bell, still seeing it here. It's ringing true for all of this that's going on here. Okay, and then I saw this massive. I don't know if you will be able to see it, but there's this like huge out, and there's like a nose here, and then a hood. It's like a cowl, you know. It's like a hood with that kind of like rests on the shoulders down here, and this like very determined looking sneaky eye here. But I wrote hooded ninja, so it's like, I don't know. There's this element of secrecy or silence or like a background figure. Because look at how massive it is. It's like right, and it's looking to the west. It's looking at the end of something. So um, I don't know. There could be a. It doesn't. I'm not getting like malevolent or like evil vibes from it. It just kind of seems to be there in the background, like almost like a protective measure. And it's seeing something to the end, right? It's seeing the end of something. So there could have been this like background support for whatever it is that you are going through. And it's like, it's not known to you. Like it was there the whole time, but it's not known to you. You don't know what it is. It's hooded, it's masked, but it was there. And it's seeing something through to the end. And then finally I wrote patience because I saw this kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks like a cartoonish frog-like figure to me here. But it's got this like, very just neutral expression, but its eyes are closed, its mouth is neutral, and it's just kind of like, it just looks patient to me, like it's just waiting. And this one, it's back to back with this ninja figure, and it's facing east. It's like patiently waiting for this newness to come in. The cobra is also facing east, ready to strike. Yeah, it's like whatever the preparations you have done for what is coming in, you're ready. You're patiently waiting for it, and you're also highly alert. And I think it's funny that this cobra is like above these two figures, right? It's like a triad here. There's a triangle of these 3 figures here: the cobra, the ninja, and this like cartoonish kind of frog-like character, humanoid frog-looking thing. Yeah, that's I love that. This composition is fun. I love that. Okay, so let's go to this side, the final side here. First thing I saw was there's this like fish. It's kind of like, once again, the Shrek face is bleeding through and kind of creating this like boxy cartoon fish face that's like kind of smiling. But this looks like, in the constellation of Pisces, there's one fish that's kind of like pointing up and the other one that's pointing like this, like making an L shape, and they're tied together with a ribbon, or a rope or something. But this one looks like the upward facing fish, like it's like leaping out of the water or something. And I just, drew an arrow to it and wrote fish. So Pisces energy coming through again here. On the west side too, it's almost like there's going to be a sign, right? Like you're going to see something like leaping out of the depths to confirm the ending of something. I saw this big I, which is the H from other angles, but I here in the center. So I wrote I in the center. So whatever all this is, it's definitely revolving around you. This is a reading for the viewer, whoever's watching this. This is something going on with you. It could also be going on for other people in your life, but I think the message here is that, put the focus on you, I in the center. And then I saw another combination of 4 and a letter, 4E. So once again, this, I don't know, some kind of code for something, but or a location or something like that. E, immediately when I think of E, the first thing that pops in my head is energy. So this is like stable energy, 4 being stability, E energy. So this is like a renewal of energy, like core energy, right? Like this is like whatever's coming in, it's going to give you a burst of energy, which is, I love to hear that. Down here, I didn't write it, but I was kind of seeing this like moon shape here with almost like a very abstract looking face, like it's like looking up, kind of turned back away from our viewing angle, just looking up this way. But I didn't write it down. So there's this energy of the moon coming through, which again, Pisces, Cancer. Yeah. And then they also kind of reminded me of like aquatic plants or seaweed. So I wrote seaweed and aquatic plants. So once again, this idea of combining earth and water, which is healing, right? That's how, plants grow. They have to have water. We have to have water. It's foundational, right? So this idea of like foundational materials, but something in the physical with the earth energy coming through very heavy. And then I saw right here A W. So I wrote aw, and then I looked again and I saw a C, so caw. Oh, sorry, the W is right here. So caw or aw. So it's almost like when I read aw, I hear someone in my head going aw, like almost like a baby did something cute, and then caw is like an external, like like a raven or a crow, something to get your attention. And it's down here at the bottom, which once again is fourth house energy. So once again, there's this idea of like something is calling to you, foundational, that seems like you're already aware of it, but if you're not, listen for the calls, the bells, the sirens, whatever it is, it's calling. Yeah. And it kind of gives me this like mystical sense of like a return to roots or ancestry, like your ancestral lineage is calling to you, something to do with where you came from, your roots, your foundation. Yeah, there's this ancestral calling with all of these fours and H's, and Saturn kind of representing this idea of like the old wise archetype, right? Like ancientness. Saturn was, a long time ago, the outermost planet. It is the outermost planet we can see with our naked eye, right? So yeah, it's like this idea of an ancient, like returning to your ancient roots, or at least paying attention to them, seeing what they're trying to tell you. Your core, right? Yeah, because, it's like this idea of growing from the center out, the eye in the center. It's, I'm, oh my God. I'm reading this book, The Body Keeps the Score. Hold on. This is perfect for what I had literally just read from this book. So, this is the book. I'm not very far in it, as you can see, but it's so good. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, MD. So once again, this idea of like medical health-related things, and even on the front here, you can see there's like a dot right over their heart. But this idea of the body, like even the cover of this book is like, hey, look at your body, pay attention to your body, the core of yourself. Yeah. But anyway, I had just read a part in that book talking about the brain and how we have like the reptilian brain, which is like the most ancient part of our brain, and then we have like the mammalian brain, which is the next layer, which deals with emotions, and then we have the neocortex, which is the outermost layer, which is the most recent evolution of the human brain, which is like higher executive functioning, but it's also the part of the brain to get the signals last because it's the farthest out, right? But it's the higher perspective of our ability to think and reason. So it made me think of the strength card, because often the strength card is depicted as a woman kind of like calming a lion. And when I was reading that, I was like, oh my God, the brain is like literally in some ways a depiction of the strength card, because it's like, the reptilian brain is like our fastest responses to like fear. It's the fight or flight stuff. It's the things that like short circuit, right? Because they get the information first. And it's like I need to act now. Is this a threat or is it not? And then it kind of like bleeds out to the outer layers of the brain where you can kind of think like, okay, I'm having this fear response right now, but what do I actually need to do? That's only if, hanged man, you take a second to pause and think about what's going on. Because then you're using your higher level executive functioning, which to me, in the strength card, I wonder if I can find the strength card really quick. Can have a visual aid for this, because this feels very poignant. Okay, it's probably going to be like on the bottom somewhere. Come on, there it is. Okay. So yeah, strength card, right? Let's see, can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so look, yeah, you have this feminine figure, and then this beast, this like mythical lion creature coming through on the bottom here. So to me, this is like the ancestral part of our brain, the oldest part of our brain, and then the feminine figure here represents the like the newer, higher executive, reasoning, logical part of our brain, right? So it's like all of our instincts, right, are so core. They're so core to our brain. They're the foundation of our brain, and it's very perceptive. It gets the signals first. It picks up on things like that, right? But this higher outer part of our brain doesn't really know what's going on until it realizes like it gets the message relayed from what this old ancestral instinctual part of us has picked up on. So it's like, you know, say the lion picks up that there's like potential danger around the encampment that they're in, and then it is alert to it first, right? And then she has to make the decision about like, okay, what do we do? Is this actually a threat? It's like when your dog barks at like the neighbors walking their dogs. Like, they're not a threat, right? Ooh, okay. Sorry about that. I guess my camera just shuts off at an hour of recording. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I don't know why. It says I have like 4.5 hours of movie recording available, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But anyway, yeah, so we were talking about the strength card, and I was saying like this kind of represents the oldest part of our brain, the reptilian part, the instinctual part, and it's like, yeah, your dog barks when something's outside that you know is not a threat, but they don't. They're just, you know, instinctual, trying to protect the home, right? Wow. Okay. Yeah. The home. Oh, this goes so perfectly together. Okay. I don't really. That's pretty much the whole message. I don't really feel the pull to pull any more tarot cards, but I'll leave the strength card out here, and I will draw some additional archetypes just to wrap this up. So what else do we need to know about this connection with ancestral parts of us, the core of ourselves, the oldest parts of us? Okay. Wow. Okay, we have apocalypsis on the bottom. That is all about a revealing. Apocalypse, it doesn't necessarily mean the end. It means a revealing. It's like, you know, lifting the curtain on something. Taking off the mask, the hooded ninja. Maybe we finally get to see what that's about. The dead end. This came out in the last reading I did too. Yeah, something's over. It's the end of something and the revealing of something else. And the tear. This came out in yesterday's message as well, and it was in the same orientation. I had said yesterday, which I still feel it's relevant, tears from heaven, and it makes me think of the cloud with the rain that I drew, that I was seeing in my meditation. Yeah, this idea of the veil, the bardo. The bardo is a veil. It is the veil between this world and the unknown. And, you know, where does the future come from? It comes from the unknown. So there is an unveiling happening. The ocean. Yeah, okay. This is about reconnecting with... Yeah, reconnection. The strength. Look, connection. This is, the ocean is, I mean, Pisces. That's Piscean energy. It's the collective unconscious. It's tapping into this it's source. It's the most ancestral thing, right? Ancestral waters, the ocean. All life came from the ocean. And then the unseen, upside down. Huh. Yeah, this makes me think of the hanged man energy, right? Like the eye is upside down. His eyes are upside down. It's like a new perspective on something. This reconnection to our like primordial beginnings is going to completely change the way you see things. This is exciting. I mean, I am ready. I am ready and welcoming for a huge shift in perspective. Whatever this unveiling is related to, yeah, this is very exciting. Okay. Now, as with all things, it's probably not going to be all rainbows and roses, right? It's roses have thorns, and rainbows come after the storm, right? So just be gentle with yourself. Be gentle, especially with those most ancient parts of you that are quick to react. Just, when you do have these deep-rooted fears and anxieties welling up within you about any given situation, just remember to pause. Just remember to pause. And let this higher level of yourself give it a second to understand what's really going on. To allow it to tame those very powerful but very reactive parts of yourself. Just a little time, just a couple seconds, right? Just step back and then allow your perspective to change on the situation. Reconnect with source. That's what this is all about. Reconnecting with the deepest parts of yourself. You can see that as your ancestry or just as like source, God, the universe, however you want to look at it. But there's definitely this idea of like, okay, stop for a second and calm down and let's review. Maybe that is the unveiling, is this like, there's some kind of massive realization happening here, and it is like an unveiling. I love it. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Check the description below for links, and if you want to do a personal reading with me, my email is down there with information about that. Okay. Well, take care of yourselves and keep your heart open. Bye.